Hello, everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Obviously, I won't be on live tonight. We were in conferences since Friday. So I've been on the road Tuesday and Thursday, been in conferences since Friday, just coming out of conference today. So it was late. And so I just wanted to do a video really quick to encourage you to start your week. This is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. So those of you that are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining me. And I just wanted to just encourage you really quick. You know, some of you guys are still in the process of some of the new subscribers that are coming are just now coming out of some of these relationships. So it's fresh to you. You know, it's that new hurt. You know, you are hurting. You're starting to realize that there was something wrong. You probably knew something was wrong. You were discarded. You discarded, and this is a different type of pain that you've ever experienced before. Even how they treat you. It's almost like, it's almost as if, you and I were never in a relationship. How is that so? We have children. We were married. We have whatever. We have history. 20, 30 years, some of you 20, 30 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden they treat you as if, they've never known you. They've never even been in a relationship with you, well, that's a part of that narcissistic personality disorder. They're self-absorbed. It's all about them. And so some of you are still fresh in the discard. Some of you guys, each one of you are in different stages of your recovery. Some of you are still struggling with the, going back and forth of not wanting to be with the person, wanting to be with the person, wondering what is this emotional roller coaster that I'm going through, but I want you to know this. This is, my mentor, who mentors a lot of us, especially as women and men, but there are always, these great nuggets that she drops in our lives, and I always say, she says something that I always remember. And boy, I remember when she says she always drops nuggets of knowledge. And one of the many things that she said is that life is huge. Life is big. Life is just, people, and this is from me, but think about it. Some people spend almost all their life chasing after a mate, chasing after a man, or wanting a woman, or wanting a relationship, always wanting to be in a relationship. And, you come to the end of your life, you come to old age, or you mature, to get to a certain point where you look back and you start thinking like, all I've ever done was in and out of relationships, bad relationships, didn't work. Some of you have come out of toxic families. Some of you have come out of, narcissistic families and toxic families. So you never had an example of what a healthy relationship looks like. And so because you never had an opportunity to heal and take the time to heal and reflect and learn, think about it for a minute. You go to college, some of you guys, different levels of degrees, different levels of degrees, associate, master's, tech school, bachelor's degrees, doctorate, whatever, certifications and technical colleges and, whatever kind of classes you went through, you had to study, you had to perfect that skill. Some of you are auto mechanics. Some of you guys are, I know I talk to people that work like at Boeing, they work in rebuild or building the plane. You have the electrical engineering, you have the, whatever you do within your business. You still have to learn to perfect your skill. And so you learn, you study. For those of you that are in the social work or the psychological field, psychiatry field, medical field, nursing field, even in the judicial system, there is continuing education. There's constantly we have to, even with the state license, the boards, across the United States is a requirement for continuing education to keep you abreast and to keep, whatever new methodologies come out, new things that come out, new things that go into your toolbox. You have to keep yourself abreast and you have to keep yourself knowledgeable. You grow your knowledge base, you expand. It took me a while to get to this point right here to provide you guys with information, the way that I provide you with information. I know that was loud. I don't know how loud it is on this side, so I apologize if that's distracting. But it took a while to get to this point, studying and continuing education about trauma and domestic violence and sexual assault and how the mind works and how the emotions work. And so to be able to take that and from personal experiences, life a lifetime of personal experiences combined with education and experiential, that's the experience, but even in clinical settings where, my mind is very analytical, so I can take my experiences and someone else's experiences and what I read and the comments that you guys make and what I study and what does it say about trauma and how do people act, and I put all that information together, but that requires study. It takes time, right? Well, let's think about this for a minute. If you want to be in a relationship, you need to study about yourself. You get to know about yourself. So many people are living life after coming out of toxic families where you don't know what the norm is, or you don't know what a healthy relationship is, and you keep going back into bad relationships. Maybe it's time to set aside time to study yourself, because self-esteem is exactly that. Your self-esteem, your self-worth. Who gave you the definition of your self-worth and self-esteem? You're living off of what other people have said. You're living off of, people have a life, we all have a history. We all have, we have lived life. We have done our dirt. We have skeletons in the closet, and some of y'all have graveyards. While you're pointing your finger at other people, some of you got whole mass graveyards in your closet. So, all of us have a history. All of us have had life experiences. None of us have been perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect person. There's a perfect person for you, but, and you are a perfect person for someone else, but that does not make you a perfect person. We all have history. We all have experiences. Some of us have done some dirt and some of us have done some dirt, but we all have life experiences, even in relationships. Children are not born with manuals. Marriages, you don't get a manual to teach you about the model that you married into. And especially when you're dealing with an individual that's a narcissist. First of all, you were tricked into the relationship. And so it wasn't a real relationship. You were tricked and lied into the relationship. You were manipulated into the relationship. And then all of a sudden, when that smoke cleared and when that mask fell, you started realizing you didn't know what it was, but you knew something was not right. Some of you, all you've ever known is dysfunctional, toxic, hateful, abusive relationship. And so some of you, because you want to be with someone so bad, have settled. You should never settle. You assign your own self-worth. You assign your value. No one dictates your value. No one tells you stop living off of what people have said. Is hard, but stop living off of what people have said. What other hardest thing is that if you were abused by, parental figures or people in authority, it makes it hard to respect people in authority. Do you know that a lot of times when you begin to heal and you become confident and you have self-worth and you have your boundaries, remember I told you boundaries offend people that have no boundaries. Boundaries offend narcissists. When you have boundaries and you have self-esteem and you know when to say no and you know when to say enough, or that's disrespectful, I don't respect that, or you decide not to talk to someone, you know what, that was very disrespectful. I don't think we can continue this relationship, or when I block, but and some of you have to block. I'm really good at the blocker finger, but when you put up boundaries and you have your self-worth, when you recognize toxic people and you decide to put up boundaries, do you know that some people can't handle a person that has self-confidence? They'll call you a narcissist. They'll call you arrogant. They'll call you conceited and stuck up. They'll tell you that you think that you're better than everyone else. I've heard this too many times when clients come and tell me, and I teach them, their self-worth, their confidence, their value. A person that, you get a compliment, a man tells you, okay, I'm gonna laugh at my own self before I even say it. A man tells you, I just want you to know, and I've had this happen before, excuse me, I don't mean to, be disrespectful or to anyone or to you. I just want you to know that you smell really nice or you're really pretty. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And move on. Some folks are like, I want to have all his kids and I know he want me. Hey, I know he loved me. No, because you're not even used to a compliment. And so you don't even know how to handle a compliment. Sometimes that'll leave the door wide open, because sometimes men, women alike will compliment you and say something to see how you react or respond to that, and sometimes, remember, that's how a narcissist will fish, to see how you respond to that compliment or see how you react to that compliment, Everybody that compliments you don't want you. Sometimes they just want to give you, a compliment. That's it. That's all it is to it. And sometimes when you are so needy and so need of affirmation, you want someone to love you, you want someone to embrace you. Okay, but first you need to learn how to do that yourself. Once you are confident and you have learned to do that for yourself, I'm telling you, just like my mentor said, life is huge, life is big. Sometimes you don't get a second chance. There's some people that never made it. Some people committed suicide. Some people were killed by the abuser. Some of you are stuck in a relationship where you have just made up in your mind, I'd much rather stay in the relationship than leave, because it's easier for me to deal with this individual. I can't imagine the heartache and the heartbreak that goes into leaving. I can't do it. So I choose to stay. Well, there's nothing these videos are going to do for you. It'll strengthen you, give you more information, but you've made up in your mind that you don't want to go anywhere. So really, unless you're watching videos to build your strength, but if you made up your mind that I'm just not going to go anywhere, Carmen, I'm just not going anywhere. I'm not the one to talk to then, because I'm here to help those people to get out the relationship. So that's why I do these videos, to build your strength. Sometimes you can't get out right away, and you have to build up your strength. You have to build up your self-esteem. You have to build up your momentum. You have to build up your courage. When you start feeling good about yourself, it gets to a point where you're like, I'm not taking this anymore and I'm out. You can have whatever. I'm starting all over. You have to establish your own self-worth. The world is too big. Some people have not gotten a second chance. And then some people have never even gotten a second chance to master, sorry about that, guys, but to master singleness. Some of you guys have never mastered singleness. You got to be a whole person. There's no such thing as this is my better half. You're not a half a person. You're a whole person. It's two whole people that make a whole relationship. You can't have one person that's bleeding and bleeding all over the place and is empty. And every time you pour into them, they just leak out and they drain you. No, it's two people that should be full of life. Find something to do. One thing I cannot stand desperate women. Not that I can't stand them personally. I cannot stand a desperate woman that just drains the husband. Now, I'm not talking about narcissistic relationship. I'm just talking about in general, desperate women that drain a husband. But you don't love me. You didn't say you love me today. Do you think I'm pretty? But I don't know. How do I know that you love me? That's a very insecure, low self-esteem, low self-worth woman that's needy and that's pulling on a man. Now, a man can do the same thing. Trust me. There's no different. A man can do the exact same thing. But a woman that's needy or a man that's needy, normally I don't hear men do that. They do it in a different way, that power and control, or, they're needy, but sometimes they do it kind of differently than the way that women do it. And as a woman, to see another woman do that is irritating. I was in the military. I used to watch that, a woman has to dress down, put her breast up under her neck. You got to be super sexy clothes, super tight, super naked, super whatever. Okay. Whatever way you become your own calling card. So whatever you present to that man is how they perceive you. A man, a good man, a good woman, they want respect. Some of you are accustomed to that. That's all you're accustomed to. So that's all you know what to look for, know what to accept. Some of you just accept. Some of you just accept something that's not even worth your time. You see what I mean? Some of you guys are getting older and wiser. Some of you guys are not spring chickens. Some of you guys got some mileage on your odometer. They've been around the block a couple of times, So this is not, let me tell you something I tell the young people, and the same thing my mentor tells the young people. Listen, you got mileage and you keep putting mileage on there. When you get into a relationship, you're going to be comparing all the time. And it's not good that you putting that much mileage and wear and tear on your equipment. You put that much wear and tear on your equipment. Every time you get in a relationship or you try to have a relationship, you're comparing them to other people. You might find you might be in a healthy relationship or get into a healthy relationship, but you don't even know what healthy is, and you'll self-sabotage. Not only will you self-sabotage, you can't even enjoy that individual because you've got so much mileage on your equipment, on your odometer, that now you're comparing that individual with every individual that you've ever been with. And that's not a good thing. So ladies, you can keep your legs closed. Men, zip it up. Try it different. You have done something over and over the same way and it's not working for you. Sometimes you might just need to withdraw and focus on yourself. Why don't you let the person surprise you? Why don't you surprise someone? Women don't take the hunt now, and nowadays they're doing things different. I'm old school. I can't tell you guys how to do what you do. I'm just old school. And what I'm saying is, it's just not a good look when a woman is running behind a man. The power of sex is in the woman, but the power of choice is in the man. Now that's the average relationship. Now you dealing with a narcissist, everything is superimposed and manipulated and forced. Totally different. So make sure we get this video right, because there are some people that are looking at some of my older videos and they're taking some things that I said out of context. When I think I said something in reference to divorce proofing or affair proofing your relationship, I was not referring to a narcissistic relationship. I was not referring to a narcissistic relationship. And when I said divorce proofing and proofing the relationship from affairs, meaning that each one of you play a role in that relationship. Sex should be a intimate thing between you and your spouse. For those of you that are not believers, I believe it should be a thing between you and your spouse. Some of you and your partner, whatever, but it should be a monogamous relationship. Now, nowadays, they're doing all sorts of things. You wonder why people have broken hearts, broken minds, broken emotions, but I don't know, the polygamorous or whatever, all these relationships. I don't know what all these relationships is. I'm old school. I believe in one man or one woman, or, for those of you that are LGBT community, I don't mean to offend you or anything like that. I'm heterosexual, so I don't know how to cater to a lot of times to the LGBT community when it comes relationship wise. But as I always say, narcissism does not have a race. It does not have a gender. It does not have a color, does not have a language. Narcissism is narcissism. It happens in the heterosexual community just like it happens in the lesbian, gay, homosexual, trans, whatever community. It happens the same. Now, me speaking as a heterosexual woman, though, what I'm saying is that in a previous video, what I said was divorce proofing and, affair proofing. Now, you can't control anybody as to what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. You can't stop people from having an affair. Absolutely not. But you do have an obligation, and they have an obligation when it comes to them being in a relationship with you. That should be an agreement that's made. It's me and you in this relationship, nobody else. And if a person cannot obligate themselves, or if they cannot, if they cannot commit themselves to you, then why are you with them? If they're having a problem committing to you during the dating phase, why are you still trying to make them change? Or if we marry, things are going to change. No, it's not. It's going to get worse. It's like it's highlighted. So if they're during the dating phase, that's the trial and error to see whether or not that this person is supposed to be with you. But, some of you guys don't need to date. You don't need to do anything, but you need to fix yourself. When I say fix yourself, you need to get to know yourself. And like I said, a lot of people are intimidated by confidence. You have to work on yourself, get a good counselor, master the singleness. When you master the singleness and you enjoy yourself and you have put up boundaries and you have made up in your mind what you will accept and what you won't accept, you'll be surprised within a year period of time. In the very beginning, when you come out of a relationship, a lot of times you want to be back in a relationship because that's all you know, but you've never been in a healthy relationship. So within that year period of time, you're going to start learning a lot of things about yourself, a lot of things like where you come from. What kind of examples did you have when you were growing up as to relationships? What did you see? What were your parents' relationship like? What do you like and what you don't like? What were you repeating? What kind of booger were you attracting into your court? And some of you kept on attracting narcissists. Why did you keep attracting narcissists? What magnet is magnetizing them to you? But you got to figure out, get counseling, get a good mentor that has no problem being honest with you. Some of you guys, when you have a good mentor and a good counselor or a leader or have a spiritual parent, you have to make a determination that when they say something to you, or, some of you guys don't like constructive criticism. Some of you guys don't like correction because all your life when you were growing up, constructive criticism and correction came with a lot of pain and hurt and emotional trauma. Well, that makes it hard a lot of times for a good mentor, because when they are being honest with you and they see the good and they see where you're going to go and they can see your value and they can see your potential and they're correcting you on your behavior and telling you, some of you guys are not accustomed to someone saying something to help you. You're accustomed to people saying something to you, whoever that was in that relationship, to tear you down. So sometimes it makes it harder for the mentor to mentor you because of the fact that they're having to pay the price for every person that has ever hurt you. every person that has ever hurt you. But it's best for you to start working on yourself first instead of living your whole life always trying to find a mate. Go on a cruise. If you don't have friends, go on a cruise by yourself. Just make sure you let somebody know where you're going so, someone can check up on you. But if you have friends, go on a cruise by yourself. On Fridays, or Saturdays, take yourself out to a movie. Make Sunday, cook. Some of you guys want to learn how to cook. Cook yourself a nice meal. Set the table up. Go buy you some nice china. You go on Amazon and you go on Wayfair. You can find you some. My big sister introduced me to where to buy fine china at. But if it's just you in the house or you and your kids, create this tradition on Sundays, cook Sunday dinner, and bring out the fine china. Set the table and make it really pretty. And if it's just you, set the table. For those of you who don't drink, I don't drink. Get you some sparkling cider and get you a pretty champagne glass and set it up, light you some candles, buy yourself some flowers and put the flowers on the table. Make yourself a bubble bath, put some rose petals in there yourself, buy yourself some chocolate. All the things that you would want a man to do, or for a man who would want to do it for a woman, do it for yourself. Nobody got to know what's going on. Even for you men that are in there lighting candles and lighting incense. Ain't nothing wrong with putting some smelling good lotion on. You ain't got to be ashy, and dusty. Put on some nice smelling cologne or something like that. Ladies, just like my mentor teaches us women, when you're single, wash your walls with an expensive cologne. Get an expensive man cologne and put it in the water and then scrub your walls with it so that your house, the walls are fragrant. Get you a nice fragrance and spray it on the carpet. Put it on your sheets, run you a nice bubble bath and put some fragrance inside the bubble bath, make you some dinner, find you some, nice little nighties. Some women need to be trained up to be a wife. Some of you have never learned how to be a wife. So you need to get with the older women or mentors, or you have to get with people that can train you, those that really have had a long-term relationship, or maybe have had a deceased spouse, and women that are willing to teach you even from their own mistakes. This is what you need to do, baby. Or you need to get, for men, get you a male mentor, a role model, an older man that can teach you from his mistakes and teach you some things, teach you responsibilities. We got to be there to mentor these young people. Some of us have been through so much that we can talk to the young people and say, listen, Linda, listen, Linda, listen, honey, and we can teach these young people some things like, listen, I done been through A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You don't want to end up like me. That sounded kind of cute. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You don't want to end up just like me. There we go. I like that. I got a little swag, but we talk to these young people and tell these young people about things that we've been through, not in detail. You might shock the kids. They'll never have a relationship, but you tell them, you don't want to do this, or I'm telling you this. But, the power of persuasion when it comes to your own experiences. Your experiences, you are not your past. You are not the equivalent of you. You are not your past. You are not your past. You are not what people said that you are. Excuse me. You are not who people and toxic people say you are. You get ahead and you have people that hate on you. You're like crabs in a pot. You try to get out the pot and the crabs are pulling you back down. But you find your own value. You go do things for yourself. Go take yourself out to eat to a nice restaurant. Go to a nice restaurant that may be really expensive. You can only go to once every quarter, once every 2 or 3 months. Let them valet your car. Get dressed up and look really nice and go take yourself out to eat. Take yourself to a movie. Do something. Cater to yourself. When you start exposing yourself to nice things, go on a cruise. If you can't afford that, whatever city you're in, go look at the next city. Drive to the next city and change your scenery. We're around the Mount Rainier area. If you're in the Seattle Mount Rainier area, drive up to Mount Rainier. Go over to another city and change the scenery and get you a hotel. Get you a high-rise hotel. Go find you some mountains to go to. Go down to the beach and rent a hotel for the weekend. Change your scenery. Go to the hotel and take some sexy lingerie with you. Some lingerie, or men, take you some wine if that's what you drink, or some sparkling cider, and just go and relax. Find you one like a hotel that has a jacuzzi, fine hotel, with like room services and a restaurant downstairs, or like a sexy bathtub. Nowadays you can get is it called Airbnb? Get you an Airbnb somewhere at another location, and do something. Live your life. Stop trying to find a mate. You see it wasn't working, so let's work on you first. Let's get you in love with yourself first. Because once you love yourself and you have respect for yourself, there are some things you're just not going to tolerate anymore. Your tolerance level is going to get real low for nonsense. Find something to do. Build your business. All that stuff that you always wanted to do. For some of you guys, you have the opportunity to start over. You're starting all over with experience under your belt. So hopefully this has helped you tonight. I didn't want to stay on just 24 minutes. I was just chit-chatting, but I just wanted to encourage you guys for the week. I wasn't able to come on live tonight because I'm tired. But I did want to come on here and say something to you guys, just to encourage you guys, live your life, live your best life. Let your mate surprise you. You never know who you run across with the same idea, same vision, doing what they're doing, busy doing something, someone that's able to handle the weight of your, that's what am I looking for? That's able to handle the weight of your authority, the weight of your mind, the weight of your progress, the weight of your destiny, those that can handle you, So everybody can't handle you, and everybody's not meant to handle you. They need to handle you with gloves, because everybody's not meant to handle you. Everybody's not meant to be in your circle. You need to be picky at who you let in your circle. And that doesn't mean that you stuck up or you think you're better than anybody else. No, I'm very meticulous and particular who enters into my circle. Everybody does not come into my circle. And so that's how you have to think. Everybody does not enter in my circle. Everybody doesn't have something to impart or to give to me that helps me grow. We got to be of the same flock. We got to be flying in the same direction. Eagles fly alone, and eagles mate for life. They have one mate for the rest of their life, the most powerful birds, and usually they don't have any natural predators but man. They can fly up to heights that the average bird cannot fly. Their lung capacity is bigger than the average bird. Some of those eagles have been found to be at the height of where the aircraft are. That is a majestic bird, powerful predator, huge. You can see, I saw one with claws this big. When the man had his arm out, the eagle claws this big, wingspan up to 7 feet, majestic, huge bird. Beautiful birds, mate for life, very beautiful birds, fly into storms. They don't flap their wings that often, they soar. You're that eagle. You're that eagle, and you're that powerful. You're that majestic. You're that powerful. Your wingspan is big and your lung capacity is large. Live your life. Stretch those wings out. See the world. Do stuff. Fly somewhere. Go on a cruise. If you can't afford a cruise, shoot, take a paddle boat out. Just go on a pond. Go fishing. Do something. Go find something to do. Like my mentor says, the world is huge, big. Do something. Enjoy your life. Stop looking for a mate. Your mate will find you eventually. There's someone out there for you. And it'll happen with time, but you have to heal first. You have to heal first, especially after this tragedy that most of you have been through. So hopefully you've enjoyed tonight. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Carmen Bryant. This is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell so you know whenever I do come on live. Hopefully I'll be back on live next week, but I'll be back on with videos next week to encourage you. Make sure you check out my podcast. You can find me on Podbean, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. I think I'm on some other places. And don't look for Dr. Carmen Bryant. Look for Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I do have 2 Facebook pages. One is my professional site, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. The other one is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I usually post videos, but on my book one, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, sometimes I post videos that are within the other arenas, platforms that I speak on, and I post videos there. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Dr. Carmen Bryant 1. Follow me on Twitter. I am on Instagram, but I don't come on live on Instagram. I just kind of post the previews to what I'm doing here. And make sure you check out my book. It is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. You can find it on Barnes & Noble or Amazon. You can get the Kindle or ebook. For those of you that are out of the country that want to order, you can find it on the publisher's site, which is Westbow Press, and they will send it out of country. Also, those of you that are looking for a therapist, some of you, I highly recommend a therapist. I have a sponsored link below on my YouTube channel. It is betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. You can vet the counselors. I think the first week is free. It's a low fee, a nominal fee. And for those of you that can't get out, don't want to get out, haven't got the courage to get out yet, and prefer to do it in the privacy of your own home, whether Skype, telephone, online, these are licensed therapists. therapists nationwide. Don't look for one that specializes in narcissist abuse. Look for one that specializes in domestic violence, post-traumatic stress, trauma. That's what you're looking for. And then you can talk to them. Like, do you understand like what narcissist abuse is? You know, don't go on there, my husband or my wife or my girlfriend or my boyfriend or my partner is a narcissist. No, that's not how you do it. You looking for help for post-traumatic stress, trauma-related, psychological trauma. That's what you're looking for. If you're having financial difficulties, you know, let them know. I believe they give a discounted rate. But, you know, as long as you're connected with a therapist, you know, so that you can move on and progress. You know, is it possible to heal? Come on, you guys are talking to a survivor. So, you know, you guys, you talk to me every day when you guys are inboxing me and making comments and everything. So is it possible to heal? Absolutely. You know, absolutely. I don't like being a hypocrite. And so some of the same advice that I give you guys is the same advice that I had to follow myself. I am happy. I am fulfilled. And I want to do bigger things. I got a second chance. You know, I got a second chance at life, and I got a second chance to master the singleness that I never mastered in my life. I always try to be in a relationship. And I think I shared this story before I get off. I think I shared the story with you guys on another video. You know, when I became a single parent again, and I was decorating my home, I was so accustomed to decorating my home according to who was in the house. And I had, you know, an ex-husband, and then I had a son, and then I had daughters. And so when I decorated the house, you know, I can't just, because I have men in the house, I can't just decorate the house in hot pink with zebra stripes, with fuzzy this, and you go in the bathroom, you got hot pink and leopard print cheetah all over the place, you know. And so common sense, you know, for me was to make it a neutral color home, comfortable neutral colors. And so when I became a single parent again, you know, my older kids, they're moved out with my grandkids. And then I got the youngest one at home, who's a girl. And so looking for stuff to put in the home, I ran into this guy that was selling like art, you know, different type of African art. And I really love like women or like real African, the realistic looking art, that like the women and the men and African and the different tones of African Americans. And I really like that kind of art. And so I was staring at, you know, these pictures of these women in their African garments and the pottery and, you know, the animals around them. And of course, you know, he's flirting a little bit. And he was like, well, you know, you think your husband would like something like that in his house? And like, basically he's asking if I was married. I was like, I'm not married. And, you know, he was like, oh, he says, all right, do you like that picture? I said, I do like the picture. And he says, well, you know, why won't you buy it? And I said, well, I said, because I don't want the house to look too girly. You know, I don't want to overdo, you know, being too girly. He said, well, who lives in your house? And I said, me and my daughter. And he was like, so what's the problem? And it didn't dawn on me at that particular time until he asked that question. And I was like, man, you know, all this time, all these years, I've always catered to other people. I've always catered to the people in my home. I've always catered, you know, I couldn't dress up the apartment, or, well, I had a house at the time. I couldn't dress up my house the way I wanted to do my house because I was being courteous. You know, I was trying to include and graft my family in it, trying to be, you know, a mother with taste. And so it dawned on me, I was like, man, you know, this is my apartment and I can dress it up whatever way I want to. You know, if I want everything to look like jelly beans and Tic Tacs and Skittles, you know, it's my little space. You know, it's my space. And so it dawned on me, I was like, wow, I don't know what colors I like. I don't know but you know, I got the pictures down the hallway, but I didn't know what I like, you know, because I've always catered to someone else. So that's just like you guys. Some of you guys have catered to someone else so much that you don't even know what you like. Go find out what you like. You know, find out what colors you like. Find out what kind of art you like. If you like abstract art, you like, you know, I like African, like realistic African art. I love black shear, you know, beautiful, beautiful art. So just wanted to give you some tidbits. Want to make sure that you guys are good to go for the week. Just to give you guys, let you guys know I love you guys. I miss you guys. I'll be back. You guys make sure you take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. You are your greatest investment. Go be great.